Let It Die. Let It Die is a new free-to-play game currently available on the PlayStation Network. It's a hack and slash adventure RPG where the main objective is to reach the 30th floor in a tower named the Tower of Barbs. Climbing 30 floors, though, will not be the only thing you will be doing in this game. There is so much to do. I really have no idea how to start this video and like where to go, just because there is so much content in this game, and it amazes me that it's a free to play. But let's just try starting in the waiting room. The waiting room is your main hub. It's your home base. It's where you buy and sell items, pick up rewards from completed quests, level up your characters, enter the tower, or use the elevator to move to various floors that you've unlocked throughout your exploration, or even enter online multiplayer matches. When you first enter the tower, you're completely naked. You have no armor. Well, you do have little boy shorts or whatever, but you have no armor, you have no weapons. Your only defense is punching and kicking, and after killing your first enemy, if you're lucky, they'll drop a weapon for you, the weapon that they were holding, or a piece of armor that they're actually wearing. That's something that I really liked about this game, because it's like the enemies, if their armor didn't break from you bashing on them, or their weapon didn't break from them bashing on you, they'll actually drop one of the items that they were holding. And it's like, there's so many games where you kill an enemy and then like you can loot its corpse, but it's like something totally unrelated to that enemy's character, you know what I mean? So like that was a really big thing that I noticed that I liked right away, was look, you have nothing and you can take the things that other people actually have after you beat them up and kill them. Like that was awesome. And before you can buy anything from the equipment vendor and in the waiting room, you actually have to find blueprints throughout the tower. As well as finding the blueprints, you also have to find R&D materials. So you have to find, like, if you found a blueprint for a pair of pants, you have to find like cloth, and then so you give the blueprint to the vendor, but then you have to give him the cloth too to do research and development in order for him to be able to make that item and for you to be able to buy it so that you can take it into the tower. Now, there's also some consumables you find throughout the game that are mushrooms, but not only are they consumables, but you can also throw them. So this can be like good and bad. So there's like some healing mushrooms. There's like a grenade mushroom, a poison cloud mushroom, and you actually use the pad on your PS4 controller to control whether you want to throw them or eat them. And so like something really funny happened was I had one of the grenade mushrooms, and to throw you hit down on the left pad, and to eat you hit the right pad. So I accidentally ate the grenade mushroom and it blew my head off, and I died right there. And that was awesome. I mean, it kind of sucked, and it's kind of like something that somebody could deem as clunky, but I think it's really funny, and I think part of the thing that makes this a great game as well is, you know, you really need to be careful, not only about, you know, what mushrooms or what consumables you're using, but even when you go into combat and stuff, or when you're exploring through the towers, like you really need to pay attention to where enemies are, take it slow, because you can easily become overwhelmed and killed not only by the enemies but by the mushrooms that you eat. So I thought that was a really cool aspect. And so with that too, there's not only the equipment vendor, but there's also I guess she's like, I don't know, she looks like a stripper or something. Like she's the other NPC that's in the waiting room, and she can actually, you can buy decals from her, and decals are exactly what they sound like. They're like stickers, or they look like tattoos, but you can buy different decals, and the decals will actually give you different buffs to your character. Each character can, you know, if you have one decal on one character, like it's not going to make up for another character. That's another part of this game, is that you don't only play as one character. You're supposed to make like a bunch of different characters, because there's lots of different classes, and you can use the characters in different ways for like the online aspect of the game, which I'll touch base on a little bit later. But one cool thing is like with the combat, there's like masteries. So like the different weapons and equipment that you use, every time you kill somebody with like the hammer, let's say, or the sword, you get experience points that go towards your mastery with that weapon. And so the mastery is something that stays with all your characters. But things like, your death bag or your inventory for each character, like each character has their own inventory, and each character will have their own decal, each character will have their own level, but masteries will stay with all your characters throughout the game, no matter which one you have. So that's a nice feature too. And I also like just that whole fact that when you're leveling up your weapons, that's even a thing, because in some games, like, that's not even a thing at all. It's like, oh, you pick up a hammer, you use a hammer is broken, throw it away. But when you like level up, like in the masteries will be under your start. It'll be like in your notebook that you have. When you go up levels for your weapon masteries, it'll unlock buffs like, plus attack, or it'll decrease the stamina drain, or you can even unlock different moves. So like that's just really awesome that they have even taken the time to include that in the game, because a lot of other games won't even bother to do that. As far as combat goes, that's where the game can be a little bit clunky based on your perception of, or your definition of what clunky actually is. My opinion is that you just need to be very careful with, how you decide to take your enemies on. Like what weapons you're going to use in your right hand, what weapons you're going to use in your left hand, and how you're going to attack that player. You can counter by hitting the block button right when they go to attack you, which will basically stun them for a second. You can do like a combat roll out of the way, which will use up stamina. You can just run around circles of the enemies if you want. But I really don't think the game is like clunky. Like, it's not super bad glitchy. It's just like you just have to be very careful at what actions you decide to take upon entering a fight. In my opinion. Now, other people could deem it as being clunky or whatever they want, really. I mean, this is my opinion, of course, but I enjoy the combat because I am like the kind of player that really likes to take more of a tactician's approach, or more of a tactical approach to starting an encounter. I'm very slow to approach. And that's the best way, in my opinion, to do it in this game, because you can get overwhelmed very easily by enemies, and it can become very difficult to stay alive. Because it's also very difficult to run away. There are some really big bosses in this. I've only encountered 2 so far, but they were both pretty easy in my opinion. The first one I was able to defeat without dying at all. He was very easy to read his attacks. I say very easy to read. It was just very quickly to see all his different attack combos and what attacks he was going to do. The second boss was a little bit harder. She killed me a couple times. Pretty much, I fought her twice. I did beat her both times, but I also died both times, and I had to respawn right on the spot. But that is to say, I don't think the combat and the bosses are very clunky. I just think it's different from, a lot of normal games that we're seeing nowadays. So let's get back to what I was talking about before with all the different characters that you're going to be creating. The purpose of creating multiple characters not only is the leveling system or reaching like that max level really easy to do, but that's because the point is to create lots of different characters, because that will integrate into the multiplayer game. So leveling a character up to max probably takes like 5 to 6 or 7 hours depending on your play style. But what you're going to be doing with the characters is you're not only using those characters to reach the 30th floor, but you're going to assign those characters special tasks. So the online gameplay is like you raid other people's waiting rooms and other people can raid your waiting room. And the way to set up your defenses is you actually assign some of your characters to defend your waiting room. So like the point is to level up to max level, I think up to 10 defenders that you can then place in your waiting room. So when people attack you, instead of just stealing all your gold and all your currency, they'll have to defeat like all 10 of your maxed out characters with the equipment that you've set up for them. And that's the purpose of creating multiple characters. But also, like upon completing different floors, you'll be able to unlock more classes that'll make it easier to navigate the tower. Like there's an attacking class which has higher attack and higher HP. For example, there's like a collector class which has a really big death bag, so you can carry a lot of R&D material or a lot of weapons back to equip on your other characters. There's also like a luck-based class which kind of goes hand in hand with the collector, although it's different. His percent of drop rate is going to be a lot higher than the other characters, so his like luck stat is going to be a lot higher than the other characters. And that's what the point of having, I think, of having like the really fast leveling system is, and having the option to create so many characters. And that's what it's for, that is using the characters to raid other people's towers and using the right characters to defend your own towers. Now, because this game is free to play, there are some microtransactions, but none of them have I really found to be a necessity to even beating the game faster. So there's 3 different types of currency in the game. There is just regular gold. There's this blue stuff called like SPH Infinite or something. I forget what it's called right now. I should definitely know that, but I don't. And you get that from completing raids, and you'll get it throughout the in-game when you defeat haters. And then there's another credit called like a death note, and it's like the multicolored skull. And the microtransactions, the only ones I found so far are for purchasing like those skulls. So what the skulls actually do is when you die, there's like an insurance policy. And when you die, a girl comes up and she says, do you want to use one of the death credits? And you can respawn right now. Or basically your character dies and then you have to go to your freezer and then buy them back, which will be like 5 or 10,000 of the gold credits that you find that are the most commonly found in the game, the most common form of currency that you find in the game. So like as far as the microtransactions go, I haven't seen like any like boss ass weapons that you can buy, or any like you can't just buy maxed out characters or anything like that. So and like throughout the game you get quests, and completing the quests you can actually like get these death credits. Also, when you log in consecutive days, they'll also give you rewards, and in a lot of the rewards boxes they have death credits in them. So it's kind of like you don't really even need there. I don't really feel a need to even pay for anything, to even purchase any of these microtransactions. But I feel like the game is good enough to where if they had something that was cool enough, like I would definitely help support and pay for it, because they really have gone like above and beyond in this game with the amount of content and the amount of ideas that they actually brought into life. in the game. I feel like they did a really, really good job with that. And that's going to bring me in to the last segment, which will be my overall thoughts. My overall thoughts on this game is obviously like it's a no-brainer that if you've even watched this video up to my point, that you're like somewhat interested in this game, and it's a no-brainer to just download it. Like, it's totally free. So why wouldn't you download it? Like, even if you're not sure if you like it or not, you might as well just give it a try. It's not like you're going to be spending any of your own money. And then, like, let's be realistic here. If you're looking for a game to play, to be able to get one without spending any of the money that you've actually worked for in real life is kind of like, it's just a win. Like, even if you don't like it, it's a win no matter what. But this is a really great game. There's tons of great concepts that I wasn't even able to touch on. There's so much content in this game and so many things to do that it's really somewhat unbelievable that this is a free-to-play game. You know, like, what like, you're almost like, now that I'm sitting down talking about it and thinking about it, you're like what's really going on here? Did they brainwash me or something? Or, like, am I going to go out and buy, like, $1 million worth of Hello Kitty gear? Like, what's up, you know? But this is a great game, and, you know, even if it did cost, you know, $20, $40, or $60, I would still say give it a try. It's really great. It's been really fun so far, and as soon as I'm done editing this video, I'm gonna go back and keep playing, because right now I'm only on the 10th floor. I've been raiding other people's towers, and I've been having tons of fun. And I haven't even seen all the weapons or all the equipment that there is to offer yet. So, I mean, I really want to see everything. So, I really want to play. So, I'm gonna finish making this video so I can go play. If you guys like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. If you like the video, it'll really help me out to get the video out to see more people. I think there's like something with the analytics to where if they have more likes, like, they'll show up more in related searches or whatever. So please give me a thumbs up, comment, let me know what you think about the game. And if you go and watch any of my other videos and you enjoy them, please subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out too. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Go check out Let It Die, and I'll check you guys out in the next video. See ya.